It was a humid Tuesday morning in Lagos. The air buzzed with the honking of impatient Danfo drivers, the rumble of Okadas weaving between cars, and the sharp aroma of roasted maize mixed with the salty scent of the lagoon. Chinedu had just landed at Murtala Muhammad International Airport. After 10 years in Germany, he finally returned home with a heart full of dreams and pockets full of plans. He had sent countless dollars home, for land, for building a house, and most importantly, for his only sister, Amara. She was his everything after their parents died in a tragic road accident. She had taken care of him when he was just a teenage boy. Chinedu had called her many times over the last 6 months, no answer. Her WhatsApp last seen was from March. Her Facebook was inactive. He thought maybe she had traveled. Maybe she was busy. But something didn't sit right. He decided to come back home quietly, without telling anyone, just to surprise her and see everything for himself. His Uber was crossing the 3rd mainland bridge on his way to Ikoyi when his eyes caught something odd, a woman sitting on the edge of the bridge walkway with 2 children, hair scattered like dry grass, clothes soiled, holding a small plate with a few naira notes and coins. He looked away, but something gnawed at his chest. He glanced back through the window. Wait. That profile. That nose. That birthmark above the woman's left eyebrow. Stop. Stop here, he shouted at the startled driver. The Uber swerved and parked on the shoulder. Chinedu stepped out, heartbeat rising like thunder in his ears. He walked slowly toward the woman, unsure of his own senses. The little boy beside her looked like a miniature version of his late father, Hugo, Amara's ex-husband. Amara, he said in a trembling voice. The woman looked up slowly. Eyes bloodshot, cheeks hollowed by hardship, but that face, it was her. Kai. Chinedu, she gasped, her hands covering her mouth. Tears burst from both of them like a broken dam. The children looked up, confused, but sensed the moment was sacred. They moved to a nearby bench under a mango tree beside the bridge. She told him everything. After he traveled, things were fine for a while. The money he sent went into a joint project with her husband, Hugo, who turned out to be a fraudster. He squandered the money on gambling and women. When Amara confronted him, he beat her and eventually abandoned her with the children. She tried to survive. She sold food by the roadside. Then she fell sick, typhoid and malaria came together. She spent everything she had, sold her phone, and borrowed until there was nothing left. Her rented apartment was taken over. She and the kids had been living under the bridge for 4 months. She had no way to reach him. No one would lend her a phone for an international call. She had no idea how to retrieve his number. All the money he had sent. The house, the land, the supposed bank accounts, vanished with Hugo. Chinedu sat there, shaking with rage and sorrow. Why didn't you tell someone? Why didn't you go to the police? Amara gave a sad smile. When you're homeless, even police see you as a nuisance, not a victim. Chinedu didn't waste time. He took them to a hotel that night, fed them warm food, and bought new clothes. The next day, they went to a hospital. The children were malnourished, but not beyond help. Amara needed therapy, food, and rest. Within a month, he rented an apartment in Ikeja for her. He hired a nanny and got the kids into school. But Chinedu didn't stop there. He opened a women empowerment foundation in her name, Amara's Grace Initiative, helping abandoned women and mothers living under Lagos bridges. News agencies picked up the story. It went viral. 6 months later, Amara was glowing, stronger. The foundation had helped over 80 women. She was back on her feet, this time standing even taller. One evening, as the sun painted the sky orange, Amara sat on her balcony, watching the kids do their homework. Chinedu joined her with a chilled malt and said, "You know, I came back to build a house. I thought I was building it for myself. But I see now, God was preparing me to build a home for you." Tears ran down her cheeks, not of sorrow, but of gratitude. 6 months after her rescue, Amara stood in front of a small hall in Ikeja, dressed in a royal blue lace gown, holding a microphone. Before her sat 150 women, most of them widows, single mothers, and abandoned wives. Behind her, a banner read, Amara's Grace Foundation, from bridge to blessing. Chinedu watched from the front row, his heart swelling with pride. Amara's journey from brokenness to strength was now a beacon for others. But life had one more test in store. One morning, as Chinedu was finalizing the registration of his new logistics company in Lekki, he received a call from the family lawyer. Mr. Chinedu, we just received an alert. Your German bank accounts, they've been emptied. What? He exclaimed. Over 80 million Nigerian naira is gone. Further investigations revealed that his former business partner in Germany, a close Nigerian friend named Austin, had forged documents, rerouted Chinedu's business earnings, and disappeared. Suddenly, Chinedu was the one struggling. He couldn't fund the foundation for a while. Rent was due. He had invested everything in a warehouse that was now locked up in a legal dispute. He sat on the edge of the couch one night, hands on his head. I thought I was here to rescue you, Amara, but now I'm the one who needs saving. She came beside him, placed her hand on his shoulder and said, Odogwu, you did not rescue me to get anything in return. But let me show you what your sacrifice has built. Amara called an emergency meeting with the board of her foundation. Unknown to Chinedu, she had saved up money from donations, partnerships, and a small tailoring business she started on the side. She withdrew 12 million Nigerian nairas and handed it to her brother. Take this. It's not much, but it will help you start again. Chinedu was stunned. Amara, this money is for the foundation. She shook her head. If the man who saved us can't stand, what are we building for others? That very week, Chinedu restarted his logistics business, this time smarter and more cautious. His reputation as a selfless returnee who turned his pain into purpose had spread. Investors took interest. Within a year, his company, Kai Logistics, became one of the fastest-growing delivery services in Lagos and Abuja. But as peace returned, a shadow from the past reappeared. Hugo, Amara's ex-husband, resurfaced. He was gaunt, broke, and desperate. He had been arrested twice for fraud and was now begging Amara to forgive him, to let him see his children. She refused at first. But the children saw him one day and asked, Mama, why do we have a daddy we can't talk to? Amara agreed to one condition, he could visit them once a month but never take them out unsupervised. Hugo tried to win her back. I've changed. Please, give me one more chance, he begged one rainy afternoon, kneeling at her gate. She looked him dead in the eye and said, You broke me, Hugo. But God rebuilt me through the hands of my brother. I'm not who I used to be. I forgive you, but I'll never return to you. 10 years later. Amara's daughter, Chisom, graduated as the best student from the University of Lagos, while her son, Obinna, became a tech entrepreneur, launching an app to help street children find safe shelters and hot meals. Chinedu had become one of the most respected philanthropists in Nigeria. At a grand event hosted by Channels TV, both of them were honored for their role in transforming lives. When asked what their secret was, Amara simply said, I was found begging under a bridge. But my brother didn't just give me money, he gave me a second chance. And now I give others that same chance. Moral of the story. A single act of love can spark 1,000 transformations. Never look down on anyone begging on the road, behind that dirt may lie a broken dream. Family is not always who you are born with, but who fights for you when the world walks away. Helping others in their time of weakness might be the seed that saves you in your own storm. The end.